The main character named Tianlin is a high school student. A young guy goes in for sports every day and takes care of his body. Fortunately, when the young man was only 5 years old, his mother left the family because the father of the main character named Yudni was a beggar. And left her husband alone with the child. All his adult life, Tianlin lived with his sloppy father. A young guy had to learn how to do many everyday things. Fortunately, after a while, the guy's father got a high-paying job and got a high position. Suddenly, on one of the usual days of the protagonist's life, his father announced early in the morning that he had found a new wife. A woman from Japan is called Ozawa. The guy fell into perplexity because he was used to living only with his father, and now there will be an unknown woman in his apartment. After another run on a hot summer day, Tianlin returned home and wanted to take a shower. Suddenly, the young man meets in his room a half-naked girl named Lilith, who was afraid of the appearance of a young man. Turns out that she is Ozawa's daughter. Flew into a rage and started shouting loudly at the young guy. When Yunji found out about the incident, he scolded his inattentive son. Tianlin claims that the father did not even say that his new lover has a child. It turns out that the man forgot to warn the main character that Ozawa has children. At this moment, Tianlin hears the doorbell ring and goes to meet the unexpected guest. It turns out that another daughter of Ozawa, named Connie, was standing on the threshold. The main character meets new sisters. It turns out that young girls are twins. Lilith tells her beloved sister that Tianlin is a sneaky pervert who spied on her when the girl was changing clothes. The girl asks for forgiveness from the guy and claims that it is difficult for her sister to restrain any emotions, which is why she has very bad behavior now. Lilith continues to insult the main character and call him an idiot. The guy manages to restrain his emotions and calmly ask his new sister to treat him with respect. At this moment, Yunji called the guys to eat. At a family dinner, the guy admires the delicious food that Ozawa has prepared. It turns out that the woman tried very hard to please the main character's food preferences. Tianlin thanks her stepmother and approves. His father is a very bad cook. Suddenly, Yunji informs his son that tomorrow the couple in love will go on their honeymoon. The main character is shocked by what he has heard and realizes that he will be alone with his stepsisters for several days. Connie promises that she will get along with her new brother soon, but Lilith refuses to do this and calls the guy an idiot again. At this moment, the main character becomes enraged and starts shouting at the capricious girl. Connie grabs the young guy by the hand and the young man calms down. In the evening of the same day, Tianlin sits in his room and is angry at his father. At this moment, the guy hears a knock on his door. The young man thinks that his father decided to come in and discuss what happened, but Connie came into the room. It turns out that the girl is very ashamed of what happened during a joint dinner. Suddenly, the main character gets down on her knees and begins to apologize to the guy. Connie thinks that the young man hates his sisters, but this is not true. Tianlin calms her sister and says that she does not hate girls. The main characters discuss what happened at dinner and Connie quickly calms down. When the girl wanted to go to her room, she suddenly slipped. At this moment, Tianlin tried to grab the main character so that his sister would not fall. As a result, the couple falls to the floor and at that moment Lilith enters the room. The young girl becomes enraged and starts insulting and beating the main character again. It turns out that she believes that the guy attacked her beloved sister. Connie tries to calm Lilith down, but unfortunately nothing helps. The next morning, the parents of the main characters go on a trip to have fun on their honeymoon. Ozawa says goodbye to the guy and asks him to take care of her children. Guys say goodbye to Yuji and Ozawa and go home. Lilith asks her sister to go to the mall together to buy a lot of new things. Connie agrees and asks the main character to accompany them. After these words, the younger sister of the main character starts hysterics. Connie tries to persuade Lilith, but the girl remains adamant. After that, the guy's stepsister goes to her room. Tianlin gets angry and shuts himself in his room. The guy starts playing video games. Suddenly, the protagonist remembers that Ozawa sincerely asked him to protect his sisters. At this moment, the young man decides to go along with the girls. In the process of surveillance, a young man is noticed by a group of girls who think that the guy is a pervert. The main character hears ridicule in his direction and is distracted by the company that is discussing him. Suddenly, Tianlin discovers that his sisters are missing. While searching for girls, a guy enters a department that sells women's clothing. There he meets a girl named Candace, who is in the same class with him. Tianlin does not have time to explain anything to his friend and leads her to the department where Lilith and Connie are. As a result, the main character manages to find the girls and he begins to watch them. The young girl is very embarrassed. At this moment, Connie notices the main character. The guy grabs Candace's hand and runs away. A young man and a young girl are hiding in a secluded place. He had to put his hand over Candace's mouth so they wouldn't be found. When the Tianlin sisters left, the main character apologized to Candace. At this moment, the young man notices another classmate named Xiaoyu. It turns out that a young and beautiful girl is a guardian of order. She noticed that the guy was forcibly holding Candace. At that moment, the girl thought that the main character wanted to desecrate the honor of a young girl in public. In the end, Xiaoyu manages to catch Tianlin. The couple falls and the girl falls on the main character. The guard of order becomes very uncomfortable because of this situation and she is distracted. At this moment, the guy managed to distract the opponent and escape. Until the evening, the young man cannot find his stepsisters. Suddenly, Tianlin hears a group of hooligans talking. The guys are discussing that their friend managed to meet beautiful girls who are twins. Hooligans say that their friend is capable of greatly offending new friends. At this time, Lilith and Connie are caught by a group of bandits. Hooligans manage to deceive young and beautiful girls and take money from them. After that, the bandits try to rape Lilith and Connie. At this moment, the main character appears and begins to threaten the detractors. Suddenly for everyone, Tianlin quickly neutralizes the entire band of bandits. As a result, the main character tells the girls that he has been following them all this time to avoid a similar situation. During the conversation, Connie notices that one of the hooligans regained consciousness and armed himself with a knife. Suddenly, the enemy attacks Lilith and claims that he will kill her. At this moment, Tianlin saves her younger sister. During a fight with bandits, the main character cut his hand. Upon arriving home, Connie treats her older brother's injury and thanks for their rescue. A beautiful girl bandages a guy's hand and they start a frank conversation. The cute girl worries a lot because she thinks that Tianlin hates them. The main character quickly calms Connie down and claims that he is very glad that Lilith and Connie have become part of his little family. After these words, the girl decided that she would call the guy her brother. In the evening of the same day, the main character is talking on a video call with his friend named Jian. A young guy throws off the photos of Tianlin. At this moment, the young man hears a knock on the door. It turns out that Lilith came to apologize to the guy and thank him for saving her. Immediately after that, the girl sees on the main character's computer a photo that Jian shared with Tianlin. The young girl understands that the photo contains adult materials and calls the young man a pervert. Suddenly, late at night, Lilith came to the main character's room and climbed on top of him. Tianlin was perplexed by the cute girl's act, but decided to listen to her. Turns out that a young girl is very jealous of Connie for a handsome and strong guy. Believes that the young man wants to marry her and sleep with her. The main character is very surprised, but quickly calms down his stepsister. At this moment, Lilith feels something warm between her legs. The girl begins to shout loudly and accuse the young man of harassment. Suddenly, Tianlin takes out his warm phone from his pocket. After that, the guy begins to joke about the main character for her great knowledge in the intimate sphere. The sweet girl starts crying and decides to leave. At this moment, Tianlin stops Lilith and claims that he will always treat the girls like sisters. Summer holidays are over and the main characters had to go to school. Connie and Lilith were going for a long time. When the young man saw what the girls were wearing, the guy was very surprised. At this moment, Tianlin warned that they should not dress so beautifully because perverts could attack girls because of this. Upon arrival at the school, all the students were surprised by the beauty of the new girls. The main character went to his class and met with Xiaoyu. The girl started fighting with the guy again because he molested Candace at the mall. On one of the school days, the main character was looking for a classmate from whom he could write off a finished homework assignment. Suddenly, Tianlin notices that Candace, who was washing the windows, falls off her chair. The main character grabs his beautiful classmate and saves her from a hard fall. At this moment, Xiaoyu enters the classroom and sees that Tianlin is holding a cute girl in her arms, who is her best friend. The law enforcement officer becomes enraged, but Candace quickly calms her down. A young girl tells that the main character saved her from falling. When the girl left the classroom, Tianlin offers Candace to repay him for saving her. The sweet girl falls into perplexity and begins to get very nervous. A classmate of the guy claims that she is not ready to give her innocence to the main character, even for her salvation. The guy wanted to take Candace's finished homework to copy it. I have time to say this, and at that moment Xiao Yu enters and starts shouting at the main character. A beautiful law enforcement officer attacks Tianlin, but the young man manages to quickly stop the girl and convince her to discuss everything. The guy tells his true intentions, but the young girl does not believe the words of the main character and thinks that he is lying. After a while, the main character manages to convince Xiao Yu to believe him, but the girl continues to treat the guy with complete severity. Lin claims that he forgot his finished homework at home, so he asked Candace to copy it. Result, Xiao Yu realizes that the main character is lying and forces him to cope alone. On the way home, a disappointed guy meets with a group of bullies who once molested his sisters. Suddenly, the bandits claim that they have kidnapped a person close to the guy and start threatening to kill and rape the girl. Tianlin falls into perplexity and does not take the words of the bully seriously. At this moment, the bandit shows a photo that shows that the main beauty of the school named Hinyu was captured and tied up by a criminal gang. The main character forces the bandit to take him to the injured girl. After a while, the couple arrives at an abandoned warehouse, in which there was a leader of bandits named Shangpao and Hinyu. When Tianlin finds the boss of the gang and a pretty girl, the guy decides to attack the bandits. Suddenly, one of Shangpao's bodyguards quickly neutralizes the main character. The leader of the bandits claims that he is ready to release the hostage only after the guy joins their criminal organization. Unexpectedly for the villain, the main character refuses. Moment, the guy attacks the leader's guard and manages to neutralize several dangerous people. Begins to analyze the situation, but at that moment Shangpao hits Tianlin with a metal pipe. At this moment, a man who calls himself a snake breaks into the building of an abandoned warehouse. The stranger quickly manages to neutralize all the criminals and humiliate their leader. At this time, the main character helps Hinyu to free himself from the rope and get to his feet. The guy apologizes to the girl because it was because of him that Hinyu was kidnapped by dangerous guys. When Tianlin wants to help the snake deal with the bandits, the young man discovers that the man coped alone. Turns out that a stranger who does not give his real name is guarding this city from the onslaught of ill-wishers, alone. The next day, the main character is at home treating his wounds. Connie notices Tianlin's wounds and begins to worry. A nice girl offers to help, but the guy pretentiously refuses. Finally, the young man had to do math homework all night, which he tried to copy from Candace. Next day, during the school day, all the high school classes gathered at the sports stadium. Turns out that the principal was unhappy with the fact that some students are engaged in the sale of soft toys during the lunch break. Suddenly, the headmaster's speech is interrupted by the security guard of the educational institution and informs that he has very bad news.